Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is part 3 in my how to make a snowman tutorial using Tinkercad. In it, I'll be showing you how to add a scarf as well as a top hat to our snowman. If you haven't already, I recommend checking out parts 1 where I show you how to make the snowman and add a face, and then part 2 where you will add arms to the snowman. After that, you can check out this video. Links to all of those videos will be in the description below. Also, if you like this project, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. I'm nearly at 100 subscribers and it would mean a lot to get to that milestone. If you feel like you've got a good grasp of Tinkercad's code blocks by this point, I'll put all the code that you'll need to add a hat and scarf on screen now, and you can reference it and go along at your own pace. If, however, you'd like a step-by-step tutorial, we will do that right now. The first thing that we'll do is take all of this code and drag it into the trash so that we can start again. There's what we've worked on so far, and now we can begin. The first thing that we'll be making is our scarf. In order to do so, we'll go over to the Shapes tab, and we will be dragging in a torus. After that, we'll change the color from blue to red, and then we'll click on this little arrow right here. Over here, we'll be making a couple of changes. First off, we are going to change the radius from 7 to 15, and we are also going to change the tube size from 2.5 to 4. After that, we'll go to the purple Modify tab, and we'll drag in a Move command. We will set Z to be 65, and after that, we will go back to the Shapes tab. This time, we're going to drag in a paraboloid. Again, we'll change the color to red. We'll click on this little arrow, and we'll change the radius to 4 and the height to 15. After that, we'll go back to the Modify tab, and we will drag in another Move command. For this move command, we will set the X to 15, the Y to -9, and the Z to 60. After that, we'll go and drag in a Rotate command, and we'll actually go and drag in 2 more Rotate commands as well, so we have 3 of them. The first Rotate command is going to rotate around the X-axis, but it's going to rotate by 180 degrees. The second Rotate command is going to rotate on the Y-axis, and it is going to rotate by -45 degrees. The third Rotate command will rotate on the Z-axis, and it will rotate by -30 degrees. After that, we'll go back to the Shapes tab, and we'll drag in another paraboloid. Again, we'll change the color to red, click on the little arrow, the radius we'll change to 4, and the height to 15. We'll go back to the Modify commands, and we'll drag in another Move command. This time, we will move the X to 12, the Y to -12, and the Z to 60. After that, we'll drag in 3 more Rotate commands. And again, we'll rotate the X by 180 degrees. We'll rotate the Y by -45, and the Z by -30. Now, if we hit play, we can check our work. There's our snowman and the 2 arms and part of the scarf. This one isn't quite what I want it to be, so I'm actually going back to that Modify, or that Z rotate. I'm going to set it to 60 degrees. Now if we press play again, That's better. Now we can move on to making the hat. In order to make the hat, we are going to go back to the Shapes tab. To make the hat, we're going to be using 2 cylinders. However, in order to make sure this model does not need any supports, I am going to use a certain function of the cylinders that I'll get into in a little bit. For now, let's click and drag in our first cylinder. I'll change the color of this cylinder from orange to black, and I'll click on this little arrow to expand our options. I'm going to set the radius of this cylinder to 13.5. I'm going to set the height to 8. And if I mouse over here, I'm actually going to change this little box right here, that's edge, and I'm going to change it to 5. This is to add a bevel to our cylinder so that it can be printed without having any kind of supports needed. After that, we'll go back to the Modify tab. We'll drag in a Move command. And we're going to move this one to a Z of 88. If we press play again, we can check our work and see, there we go. However, obviously, this bevel on top is not quite ideal. So we're just going to chop it off. In order to do that, we'll go back to the Shapes tab and we'll drag in a box. This box we are going to change into a hole by clicking this circle right here. After that, we'll change the size of our box a little bit. We'll change the width to 30 and the length to 30. After that, we can drag in another Move command. And we're going to move this box to a Z of 100. After that, all we need is to create a command to remove the top of this little thing right here. Now we can make the last part of our hat. In order to do so, we'll go back to the Shapes tab and we'll drag in another cylinder. We'll change the color to black to match the rest of the hat. And we are going to change the size of the cylinder. We're going to change the radius to 10 and the height to 20. Our last step is to go back to the Modify commands, drag in our last Move command, and we are going to move the cylinder to a height of 95. Now, if we press play for the last time, we can see our final snowman. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found these videos very informative. If you've got any ideas of what you'd like to see of improvements to the snowman, please leave a comment down below. I'd be interested to see what you guys come up with. As I said before, I'm very close to 100 YouTube subscribers, and it would mean a lot to me to get to that milestone. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing, it would mean a great deal to me. Additionally, if you'd like to see some of my other projects, I have made a video on how to make your own Christmas tree in Tinkercad. Either way, that's all from me. I hope you all have a fantastic holiday, and goodbye.